Footy Brews!
Everything football.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sasha.
Hey, and this is Roman. Welcome to another episode of Footy Brews. It's been a little while. You're seeing some new background stuff, you know. Your boy moved to Montreal. But yeah, no, glad to be back. Glad to be doing another episode today. We're getting really close to the Euros. And see what we're talking about today, Sash.
So we're going to talk about what all the fans in the world think they're the best in the world because they invented football. So we are doing the Lions England. So that's who we're doing for today.
There you go. All right, Coach Gareth Southgate picked his starting squad to bring to the Euros. Exciting stuff. Who did he bring, Sash?
We're going to start right from the back. We're going to go with goalkeepers. So we got three goalkeepers he picked, and they are Sam Johnstone, who plays for West Brom. He has Jordan Pickford for Everton and Dean Henderson for Manchester United. So those are the three goalkeepers that he's brought. What do you guys think? And what do you think?
I mean, I think, you know, out of all the top nations, they definitely don't have the best goalkeeper. And when you look at England's keeper, you know, Jordan Pickford, he's been accused of, you know, a lot of bad plays at Everton, like really beat down by the media. Dean Henderson is only starting to make a name for himself, but he's still backup keeper for Manchester United. And Johnston is just, you know, he's playing for West Brom. It's not a good position to be in. He's probably the third best keeper out of the lot. So not too much, you know, to choose from if you're Gareth Southgate right now.
100%. I mean, you're right. Like, Jordan Pickford's the one that probably gets the most playing time for Everton. And you know what? Dean Henderson is trying to cement the role, but when you're behind De Gea, which is also one of the keepers and best in the world for Manchester United that plays for Spain, it's hard to make your way in.
Yeah, that's about right. Now moving on to the defenders, who do we have, Sash?
Oh, so we have quite a bit of defenders. There was a lot of controversy of who's going to be picked because these guys have actually, for once, a very good defensive lineup. So we're going to go right from the back. We got John Stones for Man City, Harry Maguire for Man United, Tyrone Mings.
Aston Villa? Aston
Villa, that's right. And then we have Luke Shaw from Man United. We have Ben Chilwell from Chelsea. We have Kyle Walker
from City, from Manchester City.
We have Kieran Trippier for Atletico Madrid, Reece James for Chelsea, Conor, Coady, Wolves, and new inclusion Ben White from Brighton.
Sorry, who's that?
Ben White.
Oh, Ben White, yes.
And
Alexander-Arnold might be a bit sad right now.
Of course. I mean, of course he's sad, man. Of course. I feel for the guy, bro. Trent Alexander-Arnold, for me, out of that lot, is probably one of the best of them all, you know? Like, he's the most consistent. And yeah, you know what? He had a poor form this season, but nothing to the fact that he led and created chances, assists, goals. You know, this is their best attacking option as well. So it's a very big loss.
I think he's just another one. Wan-Bissaka, sad to see him not in the team, but again, they have such a monster backline. We'll see what happens.
For sure, and that's we'll keep those honorable mentions to see which one messed out, and Wan-Bissaka definitely one of the big ones. So now we'll go into our midfielders, and you know what, British fans, you should be very happy because this is very, very strong mid. Probably since the era of Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, this is probably the best golden generation you guys have. So we'll go straight into it. We got Calvin Phillips, who plays for Leeds. We have Declan Rice, who plays for West Ham. We have Bukayo Saka, who plays for Arsenal. Jordan Henderson, the vet, who plays for Liverpool. Mason Mount, who plays for Chelsea. Jack Grealish, who plays for Aston Villa. Phil Foden, Man City. And Jude Bellingham for Dortmund. What do you guys think? What do you think, man?
I mean, I'm excited to see some of this new young, fresh talent. You know, Bellingham, only 17 years old, super young, but hopefully he'll get the minutes. Phil Foden recently proved himself this season with Man City, going all the way to the finals. So, and he was an instrumental part of that team. So really hoping to see him. Definitely will be brought into contention with the whole, you know, Haaland Mbappe conversation of generational talent. So watch out for Phil Foden this Euros. And yeah, Mason Mount winning the Champions League with Chelsea. Huge success for him already. And we'll see if he can keep up that success wave in this upcoming Euros.
For sure. I mean, right, for all of these players, this is majority of them their first international tournament. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them have something to prove. A lot of them already proved in the club, respective club. I guess it's kind of to see if this English national team can kind of gel with all these superstars and egos to see if they can get the best, because don't doubt this for a second that this is a team that is got a huge reputation to make it far because of just that midfielders and those. So I guess now let's go bring it to our firepower and go into the attacks, Kome. So do you know who we have, Kome, for the attackers?
Well, for the attackers, I believe we have Raheem Sterling playing for City, Harry Kane playing for Spurs, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a striker for Everton, Marcus Rashford for Manchester United, and Jadon Sancho for Dortmund.
Wow, that is top
what a
players
lineup.
right there.
I mean, just speaking about Kane, he's probably like the strongest out of the bunch, the most reliable out of the bunch. Definitely has a capacity to score some goals, create some assists, right? It can play as a 10, can play as a 9, so will be very difficult for the other countries to handle. And then you have some very strong and quick wingers in Marcus Rashford, right? You know, Jadon Sancho, very quick, very technical. And even Raheem Sterling, I mean, I don't think he's been playing that well, but if they need a fast-pacey player that can definitely dribble and press well, you know, play some nice interconnecting passing with that Man City background, he's got that. Only thing I think he's missing is finishing.
No, that's all he needs. A finishing, and then he's one of the top strikers of the world, right? If he brushes up on that part. And now I guess we can go and we kind of figure out the honorable mentions who didn't make this squad, the omissions from who, you know, some of that kind of didn't make it through that really caught your eye.
Well, off the top of my head, you know, Mason Greenwood, not on the list, but shocking for me. He's been pretty good, a very good young talent as well. Wan-Bissaka in the defense, not seeing him, but from watching, you know, the games recently in the friendlies, they seem to be lacking some firepower, and Alexander-Arnold could have definitely helped in those few friendlies. So curious to see what happens. Who else do you think is missing, Sash?
I think probably one of the biggest honorable mentions is Jesse Lingard. And I think Gareth Southgate had a hard time picking a squad, but I think overall he got it mostly right. And Jesse Lingard maybe, to me, like that attacking prowess, maybe as a CAM that he's been playing so much for West Ham, that, you know, maybe they're going to be missing it. But when you have the players in that mid like you do, it is hard to figure out. And to me, Jesse Lingard just stepped up. And you know what?
But that's where I disagree. I think you know, Jesse Lingard had his chances to prove himself in the English team, and Jack Grealish hasn't, and he's been playing very well this season, for most of the season, even more than Jesse Lingard, right? So I think it's good to give him a shot, have him play as a 10, and, you know, in those friendlies, he was England's best player. So let's see what happens in the Euros. Hopefully he can step up. Hopefully he doesn't dive too much. I don't like it when he's, you know, holding his... I know they're huge, but like when he's holding his calves all game, you know, it's not fun.
I see. You've converted into a fan of Jack Grealish, minus the diving.
Nah, I mean, he could do some good stuff, but I just don't like him. You know, my dislike of him for diving outbeats his playmaking for me. So if he can balance that out, maybe I'll be a Jack Grealish fan.
All right, I guess if he does that, but in my books, Jack Grealish is a baller in the way he plays. I like his style. I do agree he falls down easily, but so I guess now this brings up to our starting 11. Gareth Southgate, what do you pick, Gareth Southgate? Who is the strongest 11 in your opinion?
Well, as Gareth Southgate, I would start Dean Henderson. Moving on to the defense, I think Harry Maguire has to start if he's fit. I think John Stones would fit comfortably alongside Harry Maguire. And then as the wing backs, who do you put as your wing back, Sash?
So as my wing backs, it's got to be Kyle Walker, and it's got to be Luke Shaw. You know what? Luke Shaw has been really good. And the only thing actually that I may have changed with your line, if I'm trying to maybe get more depending. So this is all dependent on if Harry Maguire is fully fit, right? Because there's a lot of questions if he's fully fit. And if he's not fully fit, I think I switch him with Kyle Walker, because Kyle Walker and John Stones, because Kyle Walker does know how to play center back, and then maybe switch Trippier into that position, but that's all up in the air. I think the strongest lineup is the one you said, with Harry Maguire, John Stones, and then we have Kyle Walker, and then we have Luke Shaw as the fullback. So that will be the defending line. Now it's our mids.
Mhm.
We know the general formation, guys. So this is usually he plays. Gareth Southgate likes to play 4-3-3, or he likes to play 4-2.
3-1.
Yes.
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1. 4-2.
Yeah. So as two holding mids, I think Declan Rice has to be one of them. He's been playing so well. And then I think it's going to be a battle between Henderson or Kalvin Phillips.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He tried Kalvin Phillips for the game in Romania. Wasn't as what we thought. Maybe, as in Leeds, he's a very dominant player for them. And
maybe he should go towards a veteran then and Henderson, right?
Yeah. No, maybe exactly. And that's I want Henderson just because he's gonna be the captain of the team, no doubt. If it's not, I don't see anybody other than him and Maguire being the captain of the team. And I do like Henderson. He's won a Champions League. He's a player that, you can get mostly consistent and a good holding mid. So I do think he might go with Declan Rice and Henderson. I think that's what he'll go for, the two holding mids. And that will kind of give them balance for his players that are going to be up in the wing, that will be able to push up and attack more, where they cover their position, so they can kind of have that balance. So I do like the idea that it could be Kalvin Phillips, but we think 100% it's going to be Declan Rice or Jordan Henderson. You think that's what it's going to be?
Yeah, probably. But now, if that's a 4-2-3-1, if it's a 4-3-3, the midfielders I think have to be Mason Mount on the left. I think they'd still put Declan Rice as the pivot 9, or sorry, the pivot 6, and then on the other side, I'm debating between Bellingham or Henderson. I think Bellingham would be nice. Yeah, what do you think?
I think I'd actually put maybe even Bukayo Saka, because he's also a player that plays in that position, and this is why it's so hard, right? Like, it all depends on the formation they choose, but if I'm trying to get the most out of that team, I want to play the 4-2-3-1, because not only
give
that,
more attacking options
with a little bit of balance, and kind of taking your main man up front, we'll speak of, into account, kind of utilizing what he already plays in his current form. So I think the 4-2-3-1 will be the best. So I think I like the two holding mids over the 4-3-3, and I think that's what they'll go for.
Yeah, so if we're going for the 4-2-3-1, who are we putting in attack there?
Okay, so let's go for the 3. So I got to put my man Jack Grealish. I mean, we've seen him in the last 2 games, been the player kind of orchestrating everything in the middle. And now that puts me on the left and the right. I have to put Phil Foden. That guy, to me, Phil Foden has to be on that upper left wing. On the right side, this will be hard. I want to play Mason Mount, but I know that kind of could be out of position for him. So I don't know. I think this is definitely really hard when I think about who he's going to have to play. I think if he can figure a way to kind of utilize Mason Mount, Jack Grealish, and Phil Foden on that attacking line, I think that's got to be the best one, because Mason Mount kind of goes. All of those 3 players can kind of rotate from left to right, right? So I want to put my 3 attacking mids as Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, and Mason Mount.
I could see a couple other permutations where I have Mason Mount as the cam, orchestrating instead of Jack Grealish. Okay. And then Phil Foden on the left, and between Sancho and Saka for me on the right. I think Saka on the right would give a lot of speed and very straight to the point. I think Sancho can do a bit more interconnecting passing, but he is more experienced as well, so I'll go with Sancho, and then definitely Harry Kane up front.
Okay, so that makes sense. All right, so we'll do Romain's lineup. It's got, I think, honestly, I do like your lineup better because I forgot about Jadon Sancho. Okay, so what I think you're right.
Phil Foden on the left, Mason Mount through the middle, and Sancho on the right.
Yeah, Jack Grealish is going to have to bite. So, and then that comes to our striker, Harry Kane. No doubt, nobody can even take that away from anybody. He deserves that part.
Yeah, he does. As good as Calvert-Lewin is, I mean, I like Dominic, man. This guy, he had a very strong start to the season with Everton, and he's definitely got, most of the attributes you need in a strong 9. But Harry Kane, he's just been too solid, just way too important for the Spurs team, and really, proving himself again this season. So it's got to be Harry Kane. I think you're right. So that's my starting 11. I think it's I think it's scary, man. I think it's really scary if you're the other teams in the Euros right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Hopefully that this team on paper is scary, and they're scary also in real games, because underwhelming games for their friendlies. I mean, Romania 1-0 with kind of not like a lot of firepower, and
I mean, it's just one pen.
one pen, and then 1-0 against Austria. I mean, okay, Gareth Southgate, we get it. You have to play around, but you expect in the last 2 games against Austria and Romania to maybe score more than 2 goals. So with that attacking power, right? So,
Exactly. After everyone we just mentioned, you know, and they were a lot of them were playing in some of those games, so
exactly.
it's kind of. You know, if you're Gareth Southgate, are you worried?
Oh, I'm 100% worried, because this is where we got to go. We got 5 days before the tournament starts. I'm hella worried to score some goals, and this is no Austria-Romania table. I mean, we do know they have an easier table out of all the groups, but England needs to be kind of upping the game, because we've seen who they got knocked out in a couple last World Cups. Wasn't the most powerful teams, Iceland and Croatia.
Yeah.
So,
And I like how you pointed out, you know, they're good on paper again this year for I don't know how many of time. They're always good on paper, right?
yeah.
But when are they going to finally prove it in the when it matters? So 5 days starting Friday. Can't wait. Let us know what you guys think is the best starting 11 guys. But for now, Footy Brews out.
Pretty was about.